All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legends Series season opener at Daytona. We're looking forward to a great race tonight. Got a pretty stacked field for it being a entry-level series. 20 cars tonight. Great car count on the docket. Here we're going to take a look at the big boss man himself, Casey Ellis, out for his two-timed laps here on the Daytona International Speedway. The Ghost Energy number 35 car for PBR Racing. Sharp looking ride. Now, qualifying here might seem pretty simple, and it is in theory, because you're not having to lift, and it's just all keeping a momentum up and getting a smooth lap in, but that can be a pretty hard task, especially with the fine margins you have to work with here in iRacing. And one little touch of that apron can knock a tenth or two off of your time over the course of the whole lap. We'll take a look here throughout the field. We have Scott McCann. Looks like he'll be prioritizing his second lap as he burns off the extra fuel here on lap number 1, running that high line. Pacey Wygant out for his two-timed laps as well. So far in lap number 1 times, Blaine Snyder is your quick time car. But as the session progresses, we will see how that develops throughout this race. To the drivers of the 14 and 420, I apologize if I butcher your last name, but I'm going to try my best. Chiamopoulos? That sounds right. George Chiamopoulos out for his lap as well. Lap number 1, I believe, is already down for him. Aaron Lester, third on the board. Great time for him. Peyton Snyder in a car that looks eerily similar to a couple of the old Kyle Larson cars, Target cars. Jimmy Mensch out for his two-timed laps as well. Mark Cofield goes 4th quick. But Blaine Snyder still so far your fastest driver. But Martin Roberg got within 5 1/1000ths of him. Jimmy Mensch out here on lap number 2, I believe, for him. So far, all of these guys within 1/10 and 2 100ths. 0.12 throughout the whole field. That's pretty impressive. Jimmy Mensch goes up to 14th quick. A lot of these guys really spread out throughout this field, especially some of the teammates here that we have in Bolt Racing League. And as the session ends, it'll be Blaine Snyder getting your pole position tonight with Martin Roberg to his outside. Pretty stout front row there. As we roll on to the race session, we'll give you a quick rundown of your starting order. On the pole will be the number 88 of Blaine Snyder. To his outside will be the number 37 of Martin Roberg. Row number 2 will have the 00 of Pacey Wygant. And to his outside, the number 97 of Mark Cofield. Inside of row number 3 is the number 86 of Aaron Lester. And to his outside, the number 42 of Peyton Snyder. Row number 4 will have the number 12 of Scott McCann. To his outside, the number 17 of Rodney Ayers. Row number 5 is the 05 of Tristan Bear on the inside, and the 81 of Carson Lucas on the outside. Row number 6 is the 35 of Casey Ellis, and to his outside, the number 13 of Brian Hotham. Hotham? We'll roll with that. Row number 7 will have the number 2 of Christopher Perez, and to his outside will be the number 94 of Jimmy Mensch. Row number 8 will have the number 57 of Christopher Mixon, and to his outside will be the number 420 of Chris Chiamopoulos. Row number 9 will be the number 14 of George Chiamopoulos, and to his outside will be the number 15 of Brett Accord. And rounding out your field in the 10th and final row, is the number 28 of Lane Myers, and to his outside, if he reappears in the session, the number 44 of Thomas Roberts. Now, as a look through your field here tonight, pretty stout field here in the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legend Series. Going to be really fun to see what these guys have in store for this race tonight. As a reminder, 63 laps, and we will have a halfway caution on or around, I believe it was lap 31. I'm pretty sure. But either way, we'll just wait for the yellow to fly around that time. And these drivers will get the opportunity to come in for some fresh tires, top her off with fuel. Here, hold on, Here, we'll do this real quick. I want to fix something. There we go. Sorry for that. But as we get set to go here, I believe we'll be going this time by, but we shall see. And indeed, we do. Pace car rolls off to the inside. Start will be on green. And green flag is out for the Season 1 opener of the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legend Series here at Daytona. The number 88 and 37 leading the inside and outside lines respectively. But I know that 00 is an incredible pusher. But we will see which line ends up being the one to be in here. Still 2x2 heading into turns number 3 and 4. 88 shuffles up to the top. That leaves the bottom open for Pacey Wygant. It looks like he may lead lap number 1. Side by side, 88 leads lap number 1. '86 hard on the bumper of the 00 Pacey Wygant. 37 also hard on the bumper of the 88. 2x2, they go down into 3 and 4. Bottom line seeming to pull out a little bit of an advantage here, at the moment at least. 4 cars clear on the bottom line, now 5. Pacey Wygant showing the way. Aaron Lester second, Scott McCann third, Tristan Baird fourth, Martin Roberg fifth, Casey Ellis sixth. Blaine Snyder still showing the way on the outside line, but it seems like that line may be deteriorating, at least for the moment. Mark Cofield there on the bumper of Blaine Snyder. On the outside line, a couple cars make contact with the wall there. Everybody keeps it straight though, we stay green. 88 Bales on the top, going down to the bottom. That looks like 7 cars or so clear on the bottom line. Aaron Lester peeks out a little bit there. Wonder if he was looking for an opportunity to go to the top there, or just maybe getting some air on the grill. The top line, only 5 cars, but they seem to be making a little bit more progress now this time. And indeed, really looks like that top line might be starting to make a little more progress. Blaine Snyder, your third place car there that time by. Now side by side, door to door with Aaron Lester for second. Top line really starting to make a little bit of headway. Pacey Wygant jumps up to the top line. That leaves the bottom open for Aaron Lester to lead the bottom line with Scott McCann on his bumper. Pacey goes back down to the bottom. Pacey Wygant, still your race leader, goes back up to the top. Not completely missed it, but Mark Cofield bails on the top line and goes down to the bottom. Oh, the 88 gets turned! Right down to the 00. More cars piling in. The 97 with damage. That will be a caution. Mark Cofield with heavy damage with the front end. We'll see if we can take a look back and see what happened. But my bet, just by looking at it, I almost think getting a little too aggressive on the bumper pushing might have been the cause of that one. But we'll take it back and we'll see. Yeah, the 88 just gets turned just the littlest bit. That is the one problem with these cars. They're a little unstable pushing in the corner especially. But lucky for a lot of these guys, seems like a lot of them were able to lock it down, keep her straight there, and avoid a real big accident there. But now pit road will be open this time, I believe. Once again, the 88, the 00, the 97, your car's involved there. And all 3 of them with pretty substantial damage. I believe they do have a fast repair in this series, so not detrimental to their day by any means. But now that's something they can't use later if they get into another accident. 42 car of Peyton Snyder leads them onto pit road. Rodney Ayers behind him, or them. Couple cars electing to stay out, but we'll keep our eyes here on pit road. Looks like a splash and go there for the 94. A couple of these guys electing to take tires early on. Yeah, the 97 wins the race off pit road. Looks like a splash and go stop for him, and maybe the 15 of Brett Accord as well. Peyton Snyder, Carson Lucas in the 81. We haven't talked about him all day. 420 and Chris Chiamopoulos. Martin Roberg, Scott McCann. 88 of Blaine Snyder. 17 of Rodney Ayers. 00 Pacey Wygant. 35 of Casey Ellis. And the 97 of Mark Cofield still on pit road. Looks like they opted to not take the fast repair and are electing to fix their damage on pit road the old-fashioned way. But up front, it'll be Aaron Lester and Tristan Bear, your front row on this restart. Tristan Bear been silently making his way to the front, English. 28 Elaine Myers as well up here. Christopher Perez. Christopher Mixon. Brian Hotham in 6th. George Tiamopoulos in 7th. And then your first car who pitted on the last on this caution, excuse me, the number 94, Jimmy Mensch. We'll take a look here. 00, just getting out of pit road before the pace car comes, as well as the 88 of Blaine Snyder. But the lights are off on the pace car. We are 1 to green this time by. And I could be wrong, but I believe the 97 may have retired from the race. Unfortunate from him. Not much he could do. Just car came down into him. The 86 on the inside and the 05 on the outside on the restart here. And while we wait for this caution cycle to end, if you want to race in the Bolt Racing League, feel free to, if you can, Twitter, just look up the Bolt Racing _2012. That's our account. From there, you can just shoot us a message. We'll get you on our Discord and get you signed up here for next race, which is Atlanta 2008 Scan, the old bumpy intermediate. Always a fun one there. But right now, we focus our attention back here to Daytona International Speedway, where we're coming through turns 3 and 4. And about to get to the restart. Pace car pulls off into pit road. And it is in the hands of the number 86. Green flag back in the air. Good jump from the 86 car. 28 follows him. Now the thing is, did they get out too far? Oh, 5 cycles down to the bottom. 3rd in line. First car on the top is the number 2 of Christopher Perez. Some little 3 wide action there for a split second back here in the back. '81 of Carson Lucas looking to the top line. Top line definitely can carry some speed, but we'll see if it can get rolling here early on in this, or Not really early on this one. Excuse me. But so far, still Aaron Lester and Lane Myers leading the charge. Oh, we've had an accident. I believe we have had a crash. Yes, indeed we have. Excuse me for missing that. We will have to take a look back here real quick. Oh, man. Let's see if we can back up a little more. Looks like the 2 got the wall. Oh, it came down to the 13. That just turned them down into the 37, and from there, more cars involved. Looks like the 94 with some heavy damage. '13 definitely probably got a piece of that as well. But another yellow early on in this one. The 86 of Aaron Lester, still your race leader. The drivers will have another opportunity to head down pit road if they so choose. A couple of these guys up front here especially stayed out on the last yellow. Might have saved them from getting a little bit of damage. But will they be able to make it to the halfway yellow? We'll see. Looks like a lot of them stay out. A couple cars come in though. The 88 comes in. 00 comes in. 42 comes in. 17 as well as the 37 of Martin Roberg. Oh, and excuse me from earlier, the 97 did not retire from the race. He has scored one lap down. We'll take a look at your drivers on pit road. Looks like the 97, or 94, excuse me, may have taken a faster pair. But a couple of your teammate cars there waiting for each other. It looks like the 17 and the 00. '88 and 37 still fixing a little bit of damage. 37 Martin Roberg and 88 of Blaine Snyder. 42 of Peyton Snyder still at pit road as well. And as the base car comes through turns 3 and 4, drivers will be getting the 1 to go signal and we'll line up double file from there. Then next time by, they'll get the green flag. Well, your running order here with, I believe, 49 to go is 86 of Aaron Lester, 28 of Lane Myers, 05 of Tristan Bear, 57 of Christopher Mixon, 14 of George Tiamopoulos, 81 of Carson Lucas, 15 of Brett Accord, 35 of Casey Ellis, 420 of Chris Tiamopoulos, the number 12 of Scott McCann. And from there, it appears to be the 00 Pacey Wygant, 17 of Rodney Ayers, 13 of Brian Hotham, 94 of Jimmy Minch, number 2 of Christopher Perez, 37 of Martin Roberg, 88 of Blaine Snyder, And the number 97 of Mark Cofield, 1 lap down, as well as the number 42 of Peyton Snyder, 1 lap down. Sure, a couple of these guys here might be getting a little antsy, getting ready to get to the green flag again. Cautions really seem to slow down the momentum and make you rethink everything. As we get back here, coming to the green flag, the 86 of Aaron Lester on the inside, and the 28 of Lane Myers on the outside. Pace car pulls off. And green flag is out. 86 with a great jump there. Now the question is, did he get out too far? It's just a bear gonna go for a move here. He does not. 6 right on the bumper of Aaron Lester. Outside line really seems a little more formed up this time. There's a little bit of a 3 wide mess back here in the back of the pack. As they get sorted. Back to 2x2 formation. The bottom line really seeming to have the advantage here. Only 3 cars on the top. Now make it 4. As Martin Roberg jumps up to the top line. '57 of Christopher Mixon showing the way on the top line. Carson Lucas in the 81 pushing him. And Scott McCann and Martin Roberg also on the top line. Looking like they're starting to make a little more progress here. Pacey Wygen also jumps up to the top line there in the back. Almost a 3-car breakaway here. For a brief moment, I think the side draft from the 57 was sucking back the... But that's the 14 of George Tiamopoulos there. 4th car in line on the bottom. '88 of Blaine Snyder peeks out to the top. 00 Pacey Wygen does as well. Oh, 57 tried to fill that hole, could not in time. That'll check up the top lane a little bit. But no harm, no foul there. But still, out front, the 86 of Aaron Lester showing the way with the 05 of Tristan Bear right there on his bumper. Great race so far we have going here. Oh, the 05 of Tristan Bear got a little sideways there. files back to the bottom, but that's going to hurt the momentum of that bottom line. As Blaine Snyder now takes away the race lead from the 86 of Aaron Lester. Oh, little contact there, further back. 57 got a little shuffled back. I think we may have had a little contact with the wall. However, we stay green. That little dip in momentum allows Aaron Lester to take back the race lead, but Tristan Bear in the 05 jumps up to the top line. Lane Myers quick to fill that hole. Oh, Tristan Bear might have gotten sucker hold there. He gets stuck in the middle. But Pacey White drops down to help his teammate. They go through the middle and make that work. But as all this is going on, the 28 and 86 have pulled away a little bit. George Chiamopoulos, third in line there on the bottom. Brett Accord jumps out in the 15. He'll jump up to that top line. Goes right back to the bottom. With the 05 at Tristan Bear in the 00, Pacey Wygant starting to make that top line work again. But as the lap tick by, as a reminder, we do have a halfway caution, just like the real-life ARCA Menards Series. And we're just about 10 laps away from that. So as we get going here in this one, guys might start getting a little bit more frantic. Try to make up position before we hit the caution. But Tristan Bear, now your race leader. For the moment, at least. Pacey Wygant on his bumper. Oh, the 05 drops down to the bottom. That gives the race lead to the 00 of Pacey Wygant, as he also drops down to the bottom, followed closely by the 88 of Blaine Snyder. That'll leave the door open for Christopher Mixon to lead the top line. But you see out front, a lot of these guys really mixing it up nice and for position. A couple of these guys a little farther in the back might be just trying to save their stuff here in case of another accident. The 97 especially, nothing to fight for here. He's a lap down, just trying to get that back. And the 42 of Peyton Snyder, all on their lonesome here, as the leaders begin to approach him. But the 00 still showing the way. 88 of Blaine Snyder, hot on his heels though. But now after a little bit of shuffling from guys mixing it up as we were looking through the field, 37 car Martin Roberg begins to lead that top line, followed closely by the 81 of Carson Lucas. Tristan Bear looks to the outside. all on his own. Will he be able to make the move? Pacey Wygen moves up with him. Aaron Lester there also on the top line. Lane Myers as well. And just as I say that, those two move down. Oh, Martin Roberg almost got sucker hold there. Tristan Bear showing the way on the top line. Now with Carson Lucas on his bumper. But Pacey Wygen still showing the way. A lot of mixing up of positions on that lap there for all these different guys. Oh, Tristan Bear just about got turned. What a save by him. But that'll really kill the momentum of that top lane. I had to say that the 0-5, excuse me, of Tristan Bear moves down to the bottom lane. At least Carson Lucas all on his own, unfortunately, in the top line. But Tristan Bear not giving up on that top line yet. It looks like he'll have a little bit of help this time. 28 of Lane Myers and the 88 of Blaine Snyder there on the top line. But these guys start coming up on the lap car of Peyton Snyder in the 42. Hopefully Peyton's able to stay out of the way and not cause any harm here. Looks like they're going to squeeze around the outside of him. Everybody's staying clean thus far, getting around the lap car. Tristan Bear already back up to the third position. Just as quick as everybody counted him out, he's able to bring you back up to the front. But oh, contact there further back in the field. The 35, 17, and I believe the 57 all making a little bit of contact. That'll really shuffle back through the field. I believe everybody will be able to stay in the lead draft, but that doesn't help any of their chances here. We take a look back up front. The 05 showing the way on the bottom. 00 on the top, and just as I say that, he moves down to the bottom. Third car in line at the bottom with a little bit of latency. Everybody stays clean. For that top line not giving up, Blaine Snyder in the 88 and the 94 of Jimmy Mensch there on the top line, followed closely by the 37 of Martin Roberg. So that top line may have the advantage here now. And this time by the 88 leads the field. Unfortunately, that group of cars in the back may have lost the lead draft. However, in just a couple short laps here, they'll be able to catch back up to the field with the competition caution. The mandated halfway competition caution is made just to bring everybody back together. And looks like there it is. Indeed, there is the comp yellow. And with that, it's also made to mimic the ARCA Menards Series and how they do it. But the one thing we do have is, unlike the ARCA Menards Series, this will be a competitive pit stop here, if drivers choose to. But Pacey Wygant still your race leader here at the halfway mark. I think this time most of the field will be coming in, with the exception of Mark Cofield and possibly Peyton Snyder, with Mark getting his lucky dog position one lap back, and Peyton Snyder possibly staying out to get a wave around here at the 1 to go signal. But Pacey Wygant let him in. Let's see if he leads him out. And it's not. The 88 gets a great run off of the pit road, excuse me. 88 leads the way off pit road, followed closely by the 00. The 15 of Brett Accord as well up there. 37 of Martin Roberg. And the 05 of Tristan Bear. And here under this caution flag, while we're waiting for the 1 to go signal, we're going to get a quick word with your leader at the halfway mark of the 00 of Pacey Wygant. Hey, Pacey, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
It seems like you have all the answers here at Daytona. Walk us through that little bit of a run there, green flag run, and did you use your fast repair? Tell us that first.
No, I haven't used my fast repair. I had 2.5 minutes of optional damage, so that luckily I got the 2 back-to-back cautions there. I was able to repair it all. But no, as for the little green flag run we had there, just kind of trying to pick your line. It's really hard to push in these cars for too long because they overheat so fast. So it's just about picking my line and trying to get it to the front as quick as possible, but got to make friends along the way to get there. So
alrighty, well, thank you for your time, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end. Good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you, buddy.
Now it's Pacey Wygant, the 00. Dialed him up because he was your leader at the halfway mark. As we look at Peyton Snyder in the 42, they do in fact get their lap back. But here on the restart, after a couple drivers came down to top off there at the 1 to go, the 88 will be leading the bottom, and the 37 of Martin Roberg will be leading the high line. Lights are out on the pace car. And these drivers are formed up 2 by 2. Heading through turns 3 and 4. The pace car will dive off, this time by. We'll be back to green flag action here shortly. But the one thing a lot of those guys coming down to top off did is it really formed up that bottom lane. A lot of these guys having to go to the end of the longest line after pitting under the one to go. But the base car pulls off, and it'll be in the hands of the 88 of Blaine Snyder. And green flag back in the air. First four cars, a little bit of a breakaway there from the top line. Oh, we have carnage. Oh, what a save. I believe he saved that. No caution. That was Chris Chimapoulos, who avoided near catastrophe there. We'll see if we can get a quick look back at that. Nope, we're not going to be able to. Apologies. Well, the majority of the field single filed out here. Blaine Snyder showing the way with Lane Myers on his bumper. '81 at Carson Lucas looking to the top. Thinks better of it though. It goes back to the bottom. A lot of these guys might be thinking fuel saving here, but we will have to see. I'm not sure what happened to these cars back here. A lot of these guys are separated out further back. Nope, that is from earlier. Apologies for that. The commands are not quite up to spec, but we make it work. But that does leave the 35 of Casey Ellis, the 94 of Timmy Mitch, the 00 of Casey Wygant, the 17 of Rodney Ayers, and the 05 of Tristan Bear relegated to the rear at the moment. Still single file formation here at the front of the field. '81 of Carson Lucas really trying to see if anybody wants to come up with them, but everybody so far seems content with riding around. We'll have to wait and see if these guys do anything. Ooh, big bobble there from the 28 of Lane Myers. 37 lets him back in. Carson Lucas now getting a little bit of help from the 57 of Christopher Mixon. Top lane now starting to get rolling a little bit. With only being two cars, they might need a third to get all the way up to the front. With this group back here, I'm not sure if they're trying to stretch fuel or not, but most of them are teammates that are more than likely in comms together. But maybe they're just trying to avoid some late race chaos. We'll have to wait and see. The top line does now have a third car. They pull up right up to the side of your race leader. Who is now Lane Miners. Excuse me, we completely missed that. The 88 of Blaine Snyder got shuffled back to third car in line on the bottom. Now Lane Myers leading the charge here on the bottom, with Carson Lucas on the outside in the 81. Couple more cars move up to that top line. Side by side now for your race lead between the 81 of Carson Lucas and the 28 of Lane Myers. Ooh, 37 of Martin Rober got a little bit of latency for a brief moment there. Not too bad though. I think that did hurt the run of the bottom line a little bit, because now it's like 2 or 3 cars on the top are clear. As the 57 moves down, 81 follows as well. Carson Lucas showing the way at the moment. Christopher Mixon thinks better of the bottom, says, no, I'd rather go on the top. 12 of Scott McCann giving him pushes. Rober makes a decision to go up to the top line. Seems like a lot of these guys are using the top line as the passing line and just more so riding around on the bottom. We'll have to keep that in mind as these laps ticks down. It seems like as long as the 2 cars on the top can get rolling pretty well and give solid pushes and receive solid pushes, they can really make some hay. But the 28 jumps up to the top as well. He'll lead this lap. And he might have got sucker hold there. Tried to make the move down to the bottom, but it won't work. Oh, contact! 37 in the wall. Martin Roberg relegated back to the bottom, or back to the back of the pack. But that was a really risky move there, especially so far up front in the field. One thing, oh, the 81 gets turned. 81 sideways on the apron. No contact with the wall, though. No caution, though. Single car spin. We will stay green from that. Unfortunate there for the 81. I don't think there was anything they could have done different. I think it might have been just a push from the 88. Wrong place, wrong time. 28 Elaine Myers showing the way. But up there on the top, the 37 of Mark Roberg and the 12 of Scott McCann. The top line starting to get some momentum rolling now. But as all this has been going on, that second pack is starting to close up once again, led by Casey Ellis and Rodney Ayers. Love to watch that gap between the 10th and 11th place cars. As soon as it's within 1 second, that second pack has the draft. But the 88 and 28 seem content riding where they're at right now on the bottom, as they're showing the way. $15 to go there. Top line formed up once again. Martin Roberg up to second now on the top line. And it looks like Martin Roberg will lead this lap. Followed closely, though, on the top by the 12 of Scott McCain and the 86 of Aaron Lester. And as I say that, Aaron Lester now the leader of the top line. And that second pack, they're no longer catching. They are there. We'll have to see how that really shuffles up the order here. There's a group of teammate cars all in a line there on the top line, with the exclusion of 86 of Aaron Lester. Whoa, little bit of Dyson up front. We missed what happened there. Looks like somebody may have gotten partially turned. Great racing here so far in this one. The laps are winding down. The 88 of Blaine Snyder showing the way as the field approaches the lap down car of Chris Chiamopoulos. A couple of leaders deciding to bail on the bottom and go up to the top to get around the lap down car. Little bit of latency there for the 28 Elaine Myers. Oh, and he makes the move down to the bottom. Air 86 tries to follow him, and he'll get turned. Big contact with the wall. So far we stay green, but that may change. And also damage for the 12 of Scott McCann as well, it looks like. But unfortunate there for the 86 of Aaron Lester. Had a really strong run going. But without a yellow, it may be over. But now we take a look back at the front. PBR Racing team cars split up a little bit. Casey Ellis down to the bottom. Following in the tracks of the 28 Elaine Myers. Ooh, a couple of guys shuffling further back. 3 wide action there for about 5th in line. Still 3 wide there. Now they get it sorted. Just as I say that, Pacey Wygant makes the move through the middle. The 88 of Blaine Snyder gets shuffled back in the pack. Three wide there, mid-pack. The 88 still hanging on. Double zero, Pacey Wygant jumps down to the bottom. And the 17 of Rodney Ayers follows him as well. Pace car. Leaders are coming up on the lap down car of Carson Lucas. Looks like he'll let them all through cleanly. Oh, Lane Myers tried to go for a move, but Pacey read it perfectly. He holds on to the lead. Two by two at the front of this one. 28 goes up for a move. That stacked up the top momentarily. That means the run will be big. And indeed it is, as Lane Myers takes away your race lead from Pacey Wygant. Top line not quite as uniform, but the one advantage they do have is that side draft on the right rear quarter panel. With a little bit of skew these cars have, that right rear seems to stick out a little bit more, and if you're able to side draft on it, it really drags down the momentum of that bottom line. Lane Myers and Blaine Snyder move down to the bottom line. There's a top line open for Jimmy Mensch to lead the way. Top line not having quite the same power it did earlier. But as the laps wind down, Lane Myers still out front in the 28 car. Blaine Snyder pushing him in the number 88 car. And the double zero of Pacey Wygant in third. 17 of Rodney Ayers in fourth, but he is side by side with Jimmy Mensch in the 94, who's up on the top line. A little bit of a 3-car breakaway here momentarily. And as soon as I talk, the 17 catches right back up. A little bit of a stack up there on the bottom. Double zero goes for the move on the top with help from the 17. Oh, Lane Myers went for the block. Wasn't quite clear, makes a little bit of contact, but does squeeze his way up there. And with a wreck further back. Big wreck. Multiple cars involved, looks like 4 or 5. The 15 of Brett Accord, the 57 of Christopher Mixon. Who else is there involved? The 420 of Chris Chiamopoulos was a lap down with damage as well. As well as the 97 of Mark Cofield. Let's take a look back and see if we can see what happened in that one. Oh, 57 just comes up a little bit, makes contact with the 97. And from there, they just stack up a little bit. Not too many huge hits. A lot of these guys may be able to fix their stuff here, especially if they have the faster pair. 57 there may have had a tow, and indeed he did. Too much damage, wasn't able to get the car steered. But that really changes things, as now we will have a green-white checker to decide the end of this race. But as the field catches up to the pace car, the number 28 of Lane Myers will show the way. Followed closely by the 00 of Pacey Wygant, the 17 of Rodney Ayers, and the 88 of Blaine Snyder. We'll see if any of those guys decide to pit. They may be a little tight on fuel, especially if they get a couple green-white checkers here, but we'll have to see if any of these drivers do decide to come down pit road. Double zero and 17 faked it. They looked like they were gonna go, but they didn't. Looks like a lot of these guys opt to stay out, except for those with damage. 12 of Scott McCann, the 97 of Mark Cofield, among those who came in there. The 57 of Christopher Mixon, unfortunately, still on pit road. But Aaron Lester, after his spin, is next in line to get his lap back. But of those who got their lap back there, the only one on the list is Carson Lucas in the 81. Took the lucky dog there, got his lap back. So when we take the green, we'll have 15 cars in the lead lap, all fighting for this win for the season opener here in the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legends Series at Daytona. This time by, drivers will get the 1 to go signal. From there, they'll double file. Rows of 2. And they'll have 2 laps here to settle the score and see who comes out on top. Lights are out on the pace car. The intensity beginning to ramp up. But as a reminder, as soon as we get that white flag, next person that crosses the line wins that race. Caution cannot be thrown. So if we see a wreck on the last lap, it's all got down to whoever makes it through it clean. 15 cars though scored on the lead lap. Lane Myers will show us to the green flag here with Pacey Wygant in the 00 to his outside. These drivers head through turns 3 and 4. There's a great time to remind you, if you want to come race in the Bolt Racing League, everyone's more than welcome and everybody has a chance. Just send us a message on Twitter at BoltRacing_2012. We'll get you in here for the next race in the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legends Series. As the field heads off of turn number 4, the pace car will make its way onto the pit road. And it is in the hands of the 28 of Lane Myers. And green flag is back in the air. 2 laps to settle the score here at Daytona. Outside line really stacked up. That may help him here be able to pull a charge onto that outside. Still side by side out front, 00 on the 28. Oh, the 28 car gets hooked. He'll come up and collect more cars. 05 flying through the air, up and over Tristan Bear on his lid. And that will be a caution. Just a bad push there again. It looked like the 28 car got turned. Came right back up into the field. Nothing he could have done, I believe. But an unfortunate ending there to a couple of drivers' races. Especially to the 05. He will be out of this one. Let's try that again, shall we? As we look back at this one, 28 Lane Myers, just a little bit too much of a push getting into the corner. Came up, collected multiple cars. And the 05 ends his race on his lid. That leaves a lot of these guys with damage late in this one. Luckily, these guys do have a faster pair, so if they're able to make it back to pit road, as long as they haven't used their faster pair yet, they should be able to get back out here. But Tristan Bear, with him being stuck on his lid, that may spell the end of his day, as he unfortunately will have to tow. A lot of these guys coming down, most of them have damage. A 37 of Martin Roberg, heavy front end damage, as well as the 97 of Mark Cofield. 28 of Lane Myers, car looks pretty intact. 14 of George Chiamopoulos as well. Nope, and he stays out. But Aaron Lester, back on the lead lap, played that one safely. Gets rewarded with the lead lap again, and he'll be back in contention here in this one. But we'll get a quick word here with Tristan Bear, who has been checked and released from the infield care center. Hey, Tristan, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy?
Sure do.
What a wild ride there, and you have been checked and released from the infield care center. Walk us through that one. Which was a wild, wild ride.
I can't explain what even happened. All I know is this car started wrecking in front of me, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'm in the wall upside down, sliding down the track on my lid.
All right, unfortunate.
Not what I wanted for this, but
yeah, and as I was gonna say, unfortunate end to your run, but thank you for coming out and thank you for your time.
yeah, thank you.
That's Tristan Bear on the 05 who took a wild ride in that one. But once again here, caution lights will be out on the pace car this time by. Drivers will file up, double file, as they get the 1 to go signal. It looks like there may be a little bit of confusion. Basically, why didn't choosing the outside? The 88 goes opposite, down to the bottom. Only the leader in this series gets lane choice. But still, on this restart, 15 cars in the lead lap, although we have exchanged Tristan Bear for Aaron Lester. Tristan Bear now scored 1 lap down. He was able to take a faster pair and get back out. After getting checked and released to the infield care center, he decides to get right back in the car. Like a madman. Shades of Dale Sr. there. But as we get set to go in this one, pace car makes a left turn onto pit road, and it'll be in the hands of Pacey Wygant, who has a teammate on his bumper as well. In the 17 of Rodney Ayers, green flag back in the air though. A lot of shuffling going on in the mid-pack, but the top lane seems like the place to be at the moment. A lot of these guys bailing on that bottom. But as a reminder, the last yellow was caused by the 17 to an extent. I won't say it was entirely his fault, but he was pushing the car that got turned. I'll say that. As these cars make their way through turns 3 and 4, 3 wide action back here mid-pack. These drivers come to take the white flag. And this race is official. This is the final lap of the race. Pacey Wygant leading the way, followed closely by Rodney Ayers, Jimmy Mesh, Scott McCann, and Casey Ellis. Still trained up on the bottom. Intensity really ramped up here. Everybody trying to get what they can. Casey Ellis jumps out to the top line. Get some hard pushes there from the 15 of Brett Accord. As they come through out of turn 4, Rodney Ayers goes for the move. And he'll take the win here at Daytona. 3 wide at the line. What a finish. 3 wide at the line, but Rodney Ayers takes the win. Jimmy Medge second with a really late move there. And Pacey Wygant third. Casey Ellis fourth. Scott McCann fifth. What an incredible race, and especially the finish. 3 wide at the line. Unbelievable. Wow, is all I can say. We'll give you a cool little slow-mo here of these guys coming across the line. Rodney Ayers made the late call to come up to the top, and Jimmy Mensch made the extra late call to come around the outside, and then cross the line 3 wide. And an absolutely incredible finish. And I didn't set a... Oh, there we go. Never mind. Never mind. We got it. But as we look here on the front stretch, Rodney Ayers celebrates his victory at Daytona in the inaugural season here of the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legend Series. It is brought to you all live here on Capital Racing Network. So much smoke in the burnout, we can't even see the car. There he is. And at the finish of that one, Rodney Ayers with the win. We'll get a quick word here with your podium. Sorry, I'm disorganized as all hell. Excuse the language. Pacey Wygant is who we'll be starting with. And as always in Bolt, we interview the podium. Pacey Wygant, your third place finisher, will be up first. Hey, Pacey, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy.
Yeah, for the second time.
What a wild finish. What was going through your head there coming to the line?
I'm a sitting duck because there's not really much he can do. No, it was a fun race. Coming to the finish, it was PBR cars all along. So, I think we were 3 wide across the line, weren't we? I
Yep.
don't even know. It was definitely a fun race though. Sitting duck leading the race though.
Yeah, and anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's third place finish here at Daytona?
Yeah, PBR Racing. I'm not sure what Casey's design thing is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but whoever
Casey
whatever
paints
Casey's
cars.
design- Yeah, Casey paints cars. There you go for painting the rep for me. Casey and Rodney and everybody who puts this on. And yeah, KNS Sim Productions. And I think that's about it. Thank you for broadcasting.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Hope to see you next week at Atlanta Legacy.
Well, you'll see me right next to you in the booth.
Oh, yeah. Well, there we go. Officially announced now. Pacey Wygant joins us in the booth next week at Legacy Atlanta. All right, we'll now get a word with your second place finisher, number 94, Jimmy Mensch. Hey, Jimmy, this is Bobby in the booth. You get a copy.
Hey, I gotcha.
So, ran a pretty good race. Got to the front right there towards the end. What were you thinking coming out of 4 there?
I tried to back up to 4th just a little bit to get that run. That didn't work as well as I expected it to. Rodney jumped outside. I just tried to get some draft off of him and find whatever kind of hole I could, and it worked out a little bit better than I expected, to be honest.
Really great effort there. Anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's second place finish?
I gotta thank the wife. She's the one that takes care of the kids, that I can get on and do this. I would say I could thank my cat because she wouldn't stop crawling in front of the monitor this race. So that was interesting. Obviously, I gotta thank you for putting on the show. Nobody here would be able to see it if you weren't here, and gotta thank PBR for, I guess, all the help and support.
Alrighty, thank you for your time and good luck next week at Legacy Atlanta.
Thank you.
That was Jimmy Betts, your second place finisher. We'll also get a quick word here with the man of the hour, Rodney Ayers, tonight's race winner. Hey, Rodney, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So, ran a pretty good race there. Got to the front right at the end of that one. What were you thinking there coming out of 4?
I had a PBR guy behind me, so I knew at that point, I was going to race it out with Pacey. I didn't know if Jimmy would go with me or not, so I took the chance, and next thing I know, I was 3 wide with him. So it's really a fun race, though, regardless.
Yeah, great run. And obviously, it's a big thing to get the first win in the series. Anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's show?
I gotta shout my teammates out over at PBR Racing. I can't do the plate check thing without them. I gotta thank everybody that shows up to Bolt every week. It's an amazing community over there. I got to shout out 213 somewhere, and I got to shout out Ayers Designs. That's me. If you're looking for a paint, hit me up.
Alrighty, thank you for your time and good luck. Try to repeat the magic here next week at Legacy Atlanta.
We'll try. Thanks, Wade.
That was Rodney Ayers, tonight's race winner in the number 17. And that'll do it from us here tonight. What a fantastic race. Action all throughout that entire race, and what a wild finish. 3 wide there at the line between Rodney Ayers, Jimmy Mensch, and Pacey Wygant. That'll do it from me here tonight on Capital Racing Network. This was the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legends Series season opener at Daytona. Hope to see you next time. Peace.